subtle blame. It has become an absolute implosion in Montecito, and the cracks are no longer subtle, they are screaming. What was once marketed as Meghan Markle's sun-drenched California paradise is now being whispered about as a suffocating cage she can't escape fast enough. After years of selling the world on her perfect new life, after millions poured into that estate, and endless branding about wellness, peace, and reinvention, the reality is brutally different. Meghan is reportedly looking for a way out, not in theory, not someday, but now. And when someone who built their entire identity on standing their ground suddenly starts searching for exits, you know something has gone catastrophically wrong. Insiders say the backlash has become overwhelming. Netflix tension, locals turning ice cold, invitations vanishing, whispers growing into outright rejection. The same woman who said she was suffocating inside royal life is now reportedly suffocating inside the very paradise she chose. And the irony is so thick you can cut it with a knife. When Harry and Meghan first arrived in California, it felt like a victory lap. Cameras flashed, celebrities smiled, and Hollywood leaned in with curiosity. Montecito was supposed to be their sanctuary, their proof that leaving everything behind was the smartest decision they ever made. It was quiet, elite, exclusive. Everything Meghan wanted the world to believe she belonged to. But that illusion didn't last, because Montecito isn't impressed by noise, and it doesn't tolerate drama. Behind the manicured hedges and multi-million-dollar gates, the locals were watching. They saw the security convoys roll in, the helicopters hovering, the endless attention dragging the spotlight straight into streets where people paid fortunes to avoid exactly that. Slowly, doors closed, smiles faded, guest lists changed, dinner invitations stopped arriving. And suddenly, Meghan found herself in a town full of actual celebrities who managed to live there quietly without chaos following them like a shadow. Sources say even everyday places became uncomfortable. Coffee shops, boutiques, casual interactions now felt tense, judgmental, cold. The community didn't buy the performance. They didn't fall for the curated California girl image, the rescued chickens, the organic garden aesthetic. To them, it felt like an act, and Montecito does not reward acts. It rewards discretion, something the Sussex brand seems incapable of sustaining. But the neighborhood rejection is only the surface crack. The real earthquake is coming from behind closed doors at Netflix. What was once a lavish, headline-grabbing deal has reportedly curdled into frustration, regret, and exhaustion. Executives who once opened the vault are now questioning why they ever did. The promise was explosive content, unprecedented access, compelling storytelling. What they got was endless complaining, stalled projects, and underwhelming returns. The love story documentary alienated audiences. Subsequent projects fizzled, flopped, or never materialized at all. And patience in Hollywood is not infinite. Industry insiders say Netflix is essentially done extending goodwill. The numbers didn't justify the money, the momentum evaporated. And the gap between what Harry and Meghan sell versus what they deliver has become impossible to ignore. The whisper behind the scenes is brutal, maximum money demanded, minimum output delivered. The Sussex production slate now reads like a graveyard of ambition. Announced projects that went nowhere. Concepts nobody asked for. Content that failed to connect. And Hollywood noticed. Other studios reportedly took notes and backed away. Quietly, quickly. When one major deal sours this publicly, word spreads fast. And suddenly, doors that once opened automatically start staying shut. Then came the staff exodus. And this is where the story turns dark. This wasn't normal turnover. This wasn't people moving on politely. This was a mass departure. 11 professionals gone. 11 careers that decided the Sussex orbit wasn't worth the price. And when James Holt walked away, it sent shockwaves through the entire narrative. He wasn't just staff. He was loyal, visible, embedded. He uprooted his life to build their empire. If he couldn't stay, what does that say about what's happening behind those gates? Former employees paint a picture that's deeply unsettling. Constant chaos, shifting demands, no stability, no clarity, people feeling disposable, undervalued, burned out. The phrase toxic workplace keeps surfacing again and again. Even the head of PR barely lasted 7 months. 7. In an industry where that role requires years to establish trust, that exit screams dysfunction. Now, Archwell is reportedly operating on fumes. 1 or 2 people holding together what's left. Spin doctors can call it streamlining all they want, but no serious business loses that many people unless something is deeply broken. And Montecito has been watching all of it unfold. This community values peace, privacy, predictability, and what Harry and Meghan brought was the opposite. Every security incident, every prowler report, every media frenzy disrupted the illusion of calm residents paid millions to protect. Law enforcement activity, increased traffic, strange vehicles, tension hanging in the air, locals didn't sign up for that, and resentment grew. What makes it worse is how badly Meghan reportedly wants their acceptance. This is her dream crowd, wealthy, influential, untouchable. To be iced out by them cuts deep. Sources say she tried charity events, clubs, social inroads, but the response was politely firm. A soft California amplified. Commentators who warned this would happen now feel vindicated. The couple who fled scrutiny are now drowning in it, and this time there's no palace to blame. No institution to accuse, no safety net waiting. The bridges were burned spectacularly. The Oprah interview ensured that. Whatever sympathy once existed in Britain evaporated long ago. There will be no rescue mission, no return to royal shelter. Insiders say the family feels relief that the chaos is happening thousands of miles away. Financial pressure is now tightening the noose. That Montecito mansion, the security bills, the staff, the lifestyle, all of it requires constant income, and that income is drying up. Netflix money was never forever. Spotify collapsed in humiliation. New brand deals are hard to secure because companies don't want the baggage. One executive reportedly summed it up perfectly: the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And yet, spending hasn't slowed. The jets, the fashion, the optics. Either there's money no one knows about, or they're approaching a cliff. And desperation is creeping into decision making. Now comes the quiet part said out loud. Meghan is reportedly looking elsewhere. Other states, other countries, anywhere that offers distance from this wreckage. The woman who branded herself as California Sunshine is now ready to run from it. Texas. Europe. Anywhere quieter, anywhere less hostile, anywhere that might reset the narrative. Harry, sources say, is conflicted. Leaving California means admitting the original choice failed. Leaving again means more loss, more distance, more instability. And the house itself, the symbol of their forever home, could become a financial anchor dragging them down. Even the children are reportedly part of the equation. Social isolation, school difficulties, playdates that never happen. Whether real or perceived, the feeling is the same: Montecito isn't working. And beneath it all, the marriage strain is no longer a secret. The shared mission that once fueled everything is gone. Harry wanted peace. Meghan wanted power. Those goals are now colliding. Meetings reportedly show tension, direction disagreements, subtle blame. Harry looks lost, uncomfortable, haunted. The weight of family estrangement. The cost of following promises that never materialized. Hollywood momentum has reversed. The town moves fast. Once it senses decline, it accelerates it. Meetings vanish. Opportunities evaporate. Desperation replaces leverage. And reputation damage like this doesn't heal quickly, if it heals at all. Public opinion has shifted brutally. Social media has turned. Mockery replaced defense. Even former supporters are exhausted. The brand Meghan believed she understood better than anyone has collapsed under its own contradictions. And that's the final truth emerging from this Montecito meltdown. The fairy tale is over. The escape narrative has failed. The empire never materialized. And the California dream has become a cautionary tale playing out in real time. Whether they flee or stay, the lesson is unavoidable. Fame gives. Fame takes. And right now, it's taking everything back. And this story, it's not over yet. And the most unsettling part of all this is how quiet it has suddenly become around them. Not peaceful quiet, but the kind of silence that follows when people stop caring enough to argue. That is the real danger zone in celebrity culture. When outrage fades into indifference, when critics stop yelling because they've already made up their minds, when supporters quietly drift away instead of defending. That's where Harry and Meghan appear to be landing now. Industry insiders say phones that once rang nonstop are now eerily still. Meetings that would have been automatic 2 years ago are being postponed indefinitely. Emails go unanswered. Promises of "we'll circle back" quietly dissolve into nothing. And in Hollywood, that silence speaks louder than any rejection ever could. It signals that the moment has passed. What's especially brutal is that this downfall isn't being driven by one scandal or one bad project. It's death by accumulation. Too many disappointments, too many burned bridges, too many grand speeches followed by weak execution. Over time, people stop believing. And once belief is gone, no PR campaign can resurrect it. Sources close to the situation say Meghan is deeply frustrated, not just with the public, but with the fact that nothing she does seems to reset the narrative. Rebrands haven't worked, new initiatives haven't stuck. Every attempt to pivot is met with skepticism instead of excitement. She keeps moving the chess pieces, but the board itself has changed. The rules are no longer in her favor. Harry, meanwhile, is reportedly retreating inward. Friends say he's more withdrawn than ever, less confident, more hesitant. The bravado that once defined him has been replaced with something heavier, regret mixed with confusion. He didn't grow up navigating Hollywood rejection. He grew up with institutional protection, structure, certainty, and that loss is now fully sinking in. The cruel irony is that everything they claim to want, privacy, autonomy, control, now feels out of reach. They are more scrutinized than ever, yet without the power or prestige that once justified that attention. They wanted to be heard on their own terms, but now the audience is tuning out entirely. And Montecito, once marketed as the final chapter, has become a symbol of impermanence. A reminder that no amount of money, branding, or curated imagery can force belonging. Communities sense authenticity instinctively. And when they reject you, they rarely reverse course. Even longtime observers admit this feels different. This doesn't look like a temporary dip or a rough patch. It looks like an inflection point. The moment when the story shifts from what's next to what went wrong. And that's a far harder narrative to escape. Behind the scenes, advisors are reportedly divided. Some urge a total reset, smaller projects, lower profile, fewer statements, less noise. Others believe only a dramatic reinvention can save them. But reinvention requires humility, and humility has never been their strongest currency. The public mood has hardened. Sympathy has been replaced with fatigue. People no longer ask what happened to them, they believe they already know. And when perception solidifies like that, it becomes almost impossible to reshape. What's unfolding now isn't just a celebrity stumble, it's a slow motion reckoning. A reminder that fame without trust collapses, that influence without follow through erodes, that walking away from something stable without a sustainable plan doesn't make you brave, it makes you vulnerable. And so the question hanging over all of this isn't where they'll move next or which deal might still be salvaged. The real question is whether Harry and Meghan can finally accept the reality they helped create and whether they are willing to change enough to survive it. Because running again won't fix this. New zip codes won't erase reputations. Fresh scenery won't silence criticism. The problem isn't Montecito. It never was. The problem is that the world is no longer buying the story they're selling. And once that happens, no amount of sunshine can stop the shadows from closing in.